A lot of people ask us, how much water does the tower need? Well, how much it needs is of course a function of a lot of things. What's growing in it, how dry is the climate, how much wind is there, how much solar exposure is there, of course temperature. So a good potting mix will actually hold usually around 12 gallons of water in the tower, and that ranges from about 10 to 14 on average. So I've added about 5 gallons. Normally you won't find any soil draining or any water draining out of the soil until you reach about 10 gallons. So I'm going to add another 5 gallons and let it soak in. And I'd be doing this just to prepare for plants. So the first times you do this, chances are your soil will be a little messy, but that'll change as it kind of locks together. When we water the tower, we generally concentrate most of the water towards the outside, and this just ensures that very little water, if any at all, actually goes in the compost tube. And the compost climate is maintained by the moist soil around it. And there is almost 8 inches of soil surrounding the compost tube, so there's really excellent insulation for temperature variations. You're going to want to be able to access the T, or leachate, or drainage, which is going to entrain a lot of nutrients as it flows through the column of the tower. And you're going to want to be able to retrieve that for watering on top and basically keeping the nutrients in the tower and not leaving the system. So this is overkill. This bucket is probably 3.5 gallons. We recommend something larger than a gallon, preferably around 2 gallons. Usually works just fine for most people, most users. So we've now added about 14 gallons of water to this garden tower for the initial planting, essentially. So the field capacity of this amount of soil in this tower is at least 14 gallons. That's enough water to usually go between 2 or 3 days between waterings, even in the peak of summer in Indiana. In drier climates, it might require more frequent watering, but we find that the tower's ability to sustain plants through several days of hot, dry weather is quite impressive. If you notice, when you want to water the tower, our test, which I use most frequently, is just to kind of prod the lower pockets and see how much moisture's reached down there, because in a lot of times the plants wick moisture up the soil so well that often the bottom is actually drier than the top. So if the bottom is dry, then I'll actually consider doing more of a heavier watering on the tower, usually around 5 or 6 gallons of water at a time. But it may be even more during a hot season when the tower really has a lot of draw on it from flourishing plants. If the bottom is still kind of moist, then I'll do more of a maintenance watering of about 2 to 3 gallons.